Shell team, jelly bean, jelly bean, jelly bean, jelly bean, jelly bean, jelly bean.
So maybe let's start with where we are at the moment.
We're in Belgium. Here's this older where I kind of guess we moved here when I was 6, so I grew up here. Running in these forests, biking in these roads. So we're back here with the family, and actually in 2 hours, 1 hour 20, a bunch of friends and family are coming, and nice to see Sienna again, and Kate and me, and before we go to Australia in a couple weeks time. It will be fun. So we're here for a couple of days, and then tomorrow we're back to Girona, and also back to training. I had an easy week now, and from Monday onwards we're back on the grind.
Okay. So easy week, of course.
Yeah,
because you did a race, quite a big one.
Yeah, indeed. T100 Las Vegas was last week. Came back, arrived on Monday, was a day and a half in Girona, flew here. And actually the jet lag and also recovery after race hit me quite hard. I was quite tired for quite a few days, and still I don't know, maybe if I got into proper training again I will feel better again, but now I know, having a bit of easier days and lots of other stuff to do, it's I don't know, I feel still quite tired.
Can you imagine? So it's one your first you did your first T100 race, your first wild card.
Yeah.
Quite a way to introduce yourself, I guess, in the T100 field.
Yeah, indeed. I think I was happy I got the wild card. I think it was a bit to go racing Taron and Zelamze. I knew I would have 3 scores then together with Oceanside in the beginning of the year, and hoping it was enough for a wild card in Las Vegas. And I think I got quite lucky that it was a week before Hawaii, and lots of the big names like Laidlaw, Ditlev, and a bunch of others contracted athletes decided not to start because it was of course Hawaii a week later. So that meant that I got a wild card. And I think I took the opportunity, and I knew I was in good shape. We did some good adjustments after Zelamze, and so I knew I was gonna be good, or I was hoping to be good. But winning, of course, is still another level. And of course, there's not a race I go in where I don't think or hope I can win. But still, to do it is something different. And I don't know, I just felt good the whole race, and super proud and excited that I could do my first T100 on a wild card, and straight win it. I think it put my name a bit on the map in middle distance racing, and hopefully it has some good influence for the rest of my middle distance career, and hoping it will be enough to do more T100 races in the future.
Was it important that because some of the big names were missing, but the one name that as of late people thought was unbeatable at the T100 distance was there?
I like the opportunity to race the best in the world, and there were of course a few missing. I think the main that were missing was Ditlev, who won in Miami, I think, Laidlaw, who won in London. I think Kyle Smith was missing, was second in 2 of the races. But then of course Marta was there, who won the previous, he won Ibiza and then San Francisco. But the 2 races he did, and indeed he was undefeated in middle distance racing. He also won some 70.3s, like basically all the races he did in middle distance he won. So it's good that he was there, because otherwise maybe people would have said, he won because there was no one there. But still there were other very good guys, like Frederick Funk was there, and Royal was there. The main, like a lot of the main people of T100 were still there, and it was very good that Marta was there, so that I beat him like gives another like layer or like the cherry on the cake of my victory, I think. And yeah, it was good that he was there. It was nice that I was the first one to beat him. Like it had to end at one point. I'm happy it's me, but I think also like I will say like really look up to Martin and how he switched from Olympic distance to middle distance racing. It's like quite impressive, and so it's not that because I beat him this race that like I don't know I think any less of him. Like I really look up to him. He's a good friend, and but yeah, that's also why it's maybe more important that I beat him so I can rub it into him a bit.
Bragging rights.
I will always be the one who beat him first.
Yeah, that's nice. Well, you're on a pretty nice streak yourself. Like 4th Oceanside, 3rd Thailand, 2nd Salamze, 1st Las Vegas.
Yeah, let's hope we stay on the first now indeed. And
now we have to stay on first.
Yeah, I said it the other day to Kate. Like my middle distance, Palmares is also quite good. Like I have these 4 races, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, and then my first 70.3 I did back in 2021. I was 3rd. So out of my 5 races, I've only been off the podium once, which was a 4th place, which definitely isn't bad. And yeah, I think now like before like still I wasn't really a middle distance athlete. The first 4 races I switched after the Olympics, but Tallinn's LMZ I didn't really have the proper preparation. So yeah, doing that without really like fully 100% committing to the middle distance, like it's quite good. And I think Las Vegas has shown that I do have like whatever it takes to be one of the best in middle distance, and I hope the streak doesn't go back to 3rd but keeps continuing with the ones.
Yeah. So I'm curious, like what changed? Like after Paris, you stopped. Now you train in a different way, I guess.
Yeah, I think two things changed. I think after Paris, I only had like I think there was 3 weeks until my first race in Zell-am-Zee. I had a whole new bike. Like before I was on the Cervelo, but then Ridley became my sponsor, and I had the Ridley TT bike for a bit, but never ridden it. And also didn't want to spend too much effort and time before the Olympics into like optimizing my position on the Ridley bike. So what I did was basically some do-it-yourself adjusting of the TT position before Tallinn. I just put it kind of similar on the Cervelo was, but it was also hard because it wasn't really possible to put it perfectly the same. And I just noticed in Tallinn and Zell-am-Zee, like I was sitting way too aggressive, and in Tallinn I was really struggling with my hamstrings. As Zell-am-Zee, I like already the second part of the bike ride, I really started to struggle to keep my watts. And then the run, like I was just quite kind of wrecked from the bike, and it was just a survival mode. Where now I worked with Mart Arnouds, like he's a good friend, and he's super experienced into long distance and middle distance. I worked a bit with him to optimize my TT position. We actually quite changed it drastically. I think the front end went 6.5 centimeters higher, a bit more angle as well in the forearms. And it turned out it actually wasn't slow, and it was a lot more comfortable for my lower back and like the whole like back chain. So we've done that, and then I've also switched coaches. So I've been coached by Joel Fillier and Drew Box since October, November 2016. After Rio, I changed. And I've had a great time with them. I really enjoyed training with the group, but I felt like it was time for something new, try something new, and I found this new coach in Ben Russell, and we've been working together ever since LMZ actually. So we had a 5-week block leading into Las Vegas. And I could notice we really put like the emphasis on the biking, did some specific, like very specific bike rides. It made me realize a bit more like what I was capable of in the middle distance race, like which power I was capable to hold. We really worked on like a bit the surges, which you have in especially like quite high dense field of middle distance racing. It's not just 200 watt the whole ride, it's like spikes with 380 watts and then settling, and I could really notice, especially also Las Vegas with the kind of curves it was, like lots of climbing, descending, and the group riding, like it was really quite spiky ride. So we've worked on that. And yeah, I think Las Vegas showed that we're on the right trajectory. And I think it was always there. Like I've always like had the potential. It's just like maybe fine tuning those little bits that came to this result. And yeah, I think it's a good start with the new coach, straight with a win. But I think there's still a lot of progression, and I've only started working with him for the last 5 weeks before Las Vegas. So I'm looking forward what the next 5 years will bring.
Yeah, for sure. For me as a spectator, it felt like you were like really in control of your own race from start to finish. Did it feel like that for you too?
Yeah, I think so. I was a bit like, so at the first buoy I was still like with that front six. I was actually kind of next to Aaron Royal, but then it strung out a bit after that first buoy and we lost contact with them. I was a bit annoyed by that actually. I really wanted to be up there in the front straight after the swim. Because I don't know, I felt like quite good in training in the swim as well, and I really thought it was possible. It was that bit too quick for me, but it was good that Josh Amberger led our group, and we actually really didn't lose too much. And the transition, the T1 was quite long, and decided to really go for it, trying to like, yeah, that I could start with that friend group on the bike, which in the end worked. Like I really was just off the back of Marta jumping on my bike, but it did cost me quite a bit of energy, like the running into transition, and then the first bit of the bike as well went straight uphill, and actually Marta just straight away overtook everyone. And I actually looked at my fire at the first 3 minutes at 380 watts, which for me it's like 61 kilogram athlete. It's a hard way to start a 3 hour 20 race. So I would say the first bit of the race I wasn't really in control, because then also gaps opened up. Aaron left the gap, and I actually wasn't really capable of over like closing the gap straight away. But then with Matisse coming past, I did make that connection with the front three, I think it was at the moment, until Alistair had to take his penalty. But from then on, I really tried to do my own race. Like there was parts in the course where I think mainly with my weight would struggle a bit. It was like after like the far U-turn, it was like slightly down here, side wind, and mainly with Matisse in the front, Matisse Marguerite in the front, who was probably 15 kilograms heavier. It was quite hard for me, but then every time on the more hilly section, in middle time I was back with them. And then actually with 2 laps to go, Justus Lischlag overtook me. And actually we were just in line. It was Matisse first, Martin, me, and then Justus. And he overtook me, went in front of me, in between Marta and me, and then left the gap, which I was quite annoyed about at the time. But then again, I was like, I'm just gonna ride my own pace, even if I have 30 seconds in transition. Like I backed myself to still be able to run off the podium, or even the win, depending on how the legs felt off the bike. And yeah, I sat behind Justus for the whole like flatter part, and then on the uphill decided to try and set my own pace and see how close I could get to the front two. And it took me a lot, but in the end I was there again, and it was at 1.30 seconds. So I was actually quite like proud of myself to close that gap on 2 of the strongest riders in the sport. So I was really happy with that. And also the run, I think I was really in control. I must say, I thought after that first uphill where I dropped Mark that I was gone and I wouldn't see him again, but in the end it was a lot harder to get rid of Mark. Definitely, like
He's a fighter.
He's a fighter for sure, and his downhill running was, to be honest, like it was quite impressive.
Lischlag had quite an impressive race as well. A bit in the shadow of your victory, but
yeah, no, it's deep.
First T100s.
Yeah, he also was his first. He wasn't a start list at another race maybe 1 or 2 years ago, but was injured, and I think that's a bit how his like last couple of years was. Like he would do a few good races and then get injured, and he definitely has the talent. It's actually funny, back in 2011, we did European Junior Champs. Marta was there as well, and I finished second, and Justus Lieslecht finished first. I think actually I have a photo here of the podium at my parents' place here in Belgium. But yeah, he was very impressive as well. He played to his strengths. I think he's a good swim biker, and then he managed it on the run. So yeah, kudos to him.
So did you celebrate the victory?
Kind of, although my stomach was quite upset, I must say. So the dinner after wasn't a real success. I was quite full quite soon, but then we hit the casinos and we had fun. In the end we lost money, but I spent $100 and it took us a couple hours to lose it. So I think that's a win in the casino in Las Vegas, and had some McDonald's and then went home. And in the end it was quite late, but mainly I think because the race was quite late, so we only were in the casino at like 11:30 p.m. So it was 3:30 when we were back, and then couldn't sleep in too long because Marta and me had to do this walk and talk with Jack and T100, so it was a short night.
Do you rewatch a race? This race? Did you rewatch this race?
I rewatched it a bit, yeah. I rewatched it.
You always, or is it because of the victory now?
Definitely when I have a bad race, I wouldn't rewatch it, but I've rewatched races before. Now I did rewatched a bit when I was packing my bike and stuff like this, when I had not really anything to do. It's nice to... it's nice to do it.
So what's in the plans, like next race?
Yeah, so it looks like my next race will be Taupo, New Zealand, it's still a while, 7 weeks I think, maybe tomorrow 7 weeks. Still a long time. I was hoping I could maybe still start Dubai, the final, but it seems that I didn't make the criteria, and which fair enough. I would have liked to do it, but if it's not possible, it's not possible. I focus on Taupo, which is a very exciting race as well. It's the World Champ 70.3, and there will be some short course athletes racing it as well. That will be very good, I think. So it's a good opportunity as well, and and then it's off season, and hoping I scored enough points to get a contract for next year's T100 series. Yeah, I think I said now I'm 12th in the ranking. So I'd say it looks good, but a good Taupo won't hurt.